An impeccably authentic manuscript of the year 822 tells of the body of a very important man with a stone being brought up this estuary. This is the secret burial of Arthur.
The delivery of Arthur's body upriver was, so the story goes, kept secret because his son was too young to succeed him. According to Wilson and Blackett, this is the very cave where the body was temporarily buried. They point to signs of a square-cut grave hewn by hand from the rock. They claim the local church provides evidence of Arthur's family links with the area. Burial stones they regard as vital clues in their historical detective work.
And this is the stone of Paul, son of Myrick, a brother of King Arthur.
This bleak hillside, 1,000 feet up, marks the end of their quest. In a church they describe as the Westminster Abbey of the Dark Ages. Wilson and Blackett claim it's cost them their homes, their jobs, and £100,000 to find this spot and say with confidence that here lies King Arthur.
One of the problems has been is how do you identify Karatek? Nobody appears to have bothered to find out. It hasn't been the subject of any research. The medieval said, well, there's a great circle at Karatek. Stonehenge is a great circle, that'll do, or Avebury. Well, Stonehenge is not the place, neither is Avebury. Kaya means castle, the castle of Karatek. Well, we've got in Mid Glamorgan a big fortress mountain. It's called Fortress Mountain, Montegay, and on it we have some strange things. We've got St. Peter's Church in ruin. The thing about St. Peter's Church is that it appears in the ancient Welsh histories as a place where Merlin Emrys meets the ambassadors of Vortigern at Karatek. We've got another thing about this. We have Mynwent y Milwyr on this long mountain. Now Mynwent y Milwyr was built by Emrys Wledig around 470. He buried all the 363 major British nobles killed in the massacre with the Saxons at the peace conference. And he buried them in a giant circular monument known as the Grave Monuments of the Soldiers, Mynwent y Milwyr. It's still on the map. And it's said to be at Karatek. So we've got St. Peter's Church at Karatek, and we've got Mynwent y Milwyr at Karatek. The highest part of this mountain, there's a grave mound still named Twyn Karatek, the grave mound of Karatek, that's what it says. Close to St. Peter's Church and close to the ruins of ancient towers and walls of a castle, a Kaya, there is a giant ditch and mound, bolt-shaped circle, let's call it, in the ground. So we have a giant circle at Karatek. We've got St. Peter's Church at Karatek. We've got the Mynwent y Milwyr at Karatek. And we've got Twyn Karatek at Karatek. And we actually have a castle, a Kaya, or the ruins of it. All the names up here are evocative. The Ridge of the Soldiers, the Throne of the Knights, Outpost Forts defending the mountain, and so on.
Tony, here is the Atlantic Ocean and the river that leads up to Karatek. Could you tell us the significance of this place?
As it's recorded in Nennius and in the Lives of the Saints, we'll see the Iweni River, which comes into the mouth of the sea here, moves up towards Karatek, and the smooth ridges over here, these ridges are described in detail in Nennius and the Lives of the Saints. This is where the boat came up the river to the cave and which before the burial took place.
And so this is where they brought the body of Arthur into this little gorge here and up the river, past these mounds, these smooth ridges, and this is referred to in a 5th, 6th century document?
That's according to the references going back to the 6th century.
Wow.
The medieval histories here say how the Normans seized the castles. They were allied to the Welsh king here. The Normans under Fitzhamon were in that area. They sailed off. The Welsh king dispersed his army. They'd been fighting a joint battle there. And everybody went home, and the Normans sailed back in the night and attacked their own allies and seized the castles. So if we leave aside the theory that no Welshman can put one stone on top of the other and therefore every castle's Norman, you know, look at it. This stone was found at this castle. It's been translated, and it says how Arthmail the king, Iron Bear, Arthur, favourite name, is granting land to 3 people. Nertat, who turns out to be Nertat, daughter of Blackett of Brecon, who's his first cousin.
Okay.
Philly the Bishop, who's Felwyn, Bishop of Llandaff, who's a grandson of St Gildas, immediate type here. Okay. And the third person is Glwys. Well, Glwys is Glwys Cernew, a brother of St Karatek, a sort of second nephew of that. It's all contemporary younger people in his family. He's granting land to them for a religious purpose. And this stone is found in this castle. So there's a stone with Arthur's name on it.
Now Geoffrey of Monmouth's account of Karatek says that a church was located there, and Munna de Gair has the remains of an ancient church. Geoffrey also states that an impressive circular monument stood at Karatek, a monument built 1 generation before Arthur's reign to commemorate soldiers murdered by the Saxons. Now at Munwent Milweir, located on the heights of Munna de Gair, there is evidence of a circular monument, and the name Munwent Milweir, translated, becomes the graveyard of the soldiers.
Right, here on a 1980 Ordnance Survey map, you've got the Munwent Milweir, this monument of the soldiers of the military on Munna de Gair, Fortress Mountain. We're going there. Now, in 1983, a mere 3 years later, we've got an addition to the maps in the form of a motorway, but up on Munna de Gair, here, right, can you focus in? We've lost the Munwent Milweir. So we've gained a motorway and we've lost the most ancient and precious of the monuments. The circle is, and whatever these mounds are, this is the monument of the soldiers. This is it, here. This is it. And you can see the whole of the bloody kingdom from here, just about. You can't see up the valleys, but you can see the whole bloody kingdom from this point. Bloody marvellous, you know.
Ironically, the name Munwent Milweir has been lost from the very map that this triangulation point was built to chart. Impressions in the earth are all that remain.
Whatever's under the ground here, God knows I don't. And whatever was here, the big circle though. You can trace it out to walk around it. Dead bodies. Well, there's lumps and mounds here, and this is the perimeter of it here. You can see the mounds, the perimeter of it, and it walks around here.
Geoffrey of Monmouth said that the circular monument of the soldiers, built in about the 5th century AD, was Stonehenge, but this is clearly one of Geoffrey's many confusions. For Alan Wilson then, this site, taken together with other evidence, pointed to the location of Karatek here, in Maganoog.
This is the edge of it. You trace the mound there. It is there. Okay? Seen it? Most vital identification in Britain. No doubt. Mm-hmm. Now the difficulty we face, as my colleague could explain if he wants to, is this. If the academic view, which is absolutely absurd, is ludicrous, that stemming from one man only, who wasn't a historian, that the Colburn alphabet was invented around the time of Napoleon, 1800, then you can't have 1,000 or 1,500 year old Colburn axe. Nor can you have the Colburn writing described by Julius Caesar and Strabo and Ammianus Marcellinus and others, and so on, which we've been through. So we have an ancient Colburn axe, but the academic stance is that this can't exist because Colburn wasn't invented until around 1800 AD, instead of about 800 BC, as we're proving. So that's the only one in the world, and it's urgently in need of preservation by experts to make sure it doesn't fall apart completely, which is what I'm doing in my hands.